If normal is getting on your nerves, then you got to change something. Being mediocre was driving me crazy.
And I want to challenge you right now about raising your goals and stretch yourself. 87% of people go to jobs that they hate. On Monday morning, the heart attack rate increases over 35%. The heart said, didn't I tell you I didn't want to go? And attack them. When I was a little boy, my goal was to just buy groceries for our family. But who'd have thought? No one could have convinced me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. Just given my circumstances, I earn millions of dollars every year. No one could have convinced me, being labeled educable, mental retarded, no college training. I did not know I can do what I'm doing right now. Never forget Mike Williams, my mentor. Les, why don't you just test yourself? Why don't you stretch, Les? And here's something I realized, write this down. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in.
God has some of these who would have ever thought blessings coming your way.
It's not what you don't have, it's what you think you need that keeps you from being successful.
This is not what I was believing for, but it's close. It's good enough. You don't have to settle. You have to keep stretching. Keep believing for the fullness of what God promised. Even though you've made mistakes, thoughts will tell you all the reasons why it's not going to happen for you. You're too old. You've made too many mistakes. None of that stops our God. We've all had bad breaks. We can all find a reason to live offended, angry, press past the disappointments, press past those lonely nights. Amazing things await you if you just don't settle. Now, not settling may mean getting training so your gifts can come out in new ways, meeting with mentors to bring about your goal. It may mean putting more effort into your marriage, taking walks at night instead of watching television. But I wonder where you could be in 10 years if you just don't settle. The dreams you're going to accomplish, the gifts that are going to come out of you. Don't let good enough become good enough. Get your fire back and go after the destiny that belongs to you.
Be the most you possibly can, and here's why. The essence of life is growth. And here's what's interesting. Humans are the only life form that will settle for less, because we've been given the dignity of choice. To become part of what we could be, enough to get by, or to become all that we can be.
When you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what your limits are, and you act like you don't have any.
You ever say to yourself, man, it's got to be more to my life than this? If you've ever said that, that's because it is.
Our problem today is that we have generations of people who like to talk about increase and expansion, but they think like decrease and survival. And the reason we are so emotional is because we think like followers, not like leaders. We think like slaves and not like kings. But because we were not taught to be correctors of a problem, we get in a problem and we give up before the fight ever breaks out. We let the conditions around us convince us that we can't reach what we're trying to reach because of circumstances beyond our control.
You were born to do something great with your life. We put this gun to our head every day that tells us we're not enough. And there's a better way forward. You could decide today that you were born to do something great. To set this weapon down, whatever it is. You have this kind of convoluted, limiting belief about why you can't do something. How about you just decide it's a lie, even if it is true?
Let's just shout it out. I think like a king. I want to be self-sustaining. I don't want to be at the mercy of other people because I think like a king, not like a follower. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? I'm going to work on your head, because what good is it for you to have the anointing if you still have the habits of a pauper? Over our lives, we would go through moments of gradual moments of growth. Even if it doesn't happen suddenly, we all grow but our structure doesn't change. So we take on more stuff and more weight, more stress, but we're using old structures for new weight. We say, Lord, use me. I'll go wherever you want me to go. But we don't have a passport. They say that they're going to prosper, but they have no relationship with finances. The problem is they built their life around the current conditions and then pray for God to bless them. They only embrace friends from similar backgrounds. They surround themselves with people who are void of the information until your whole circle is in the same situation. And that's why they keep saying, girl, I feel you. They feel you because they just like you. Look at the people you run with. You couldn't raise enough to change anything because they have the same situation you do. They have no contingency plan for growth. You're closer to God. Yes, you have the anointing of God. Yes, God has empowered you, but He didn't empower you to be a survivor. He empowered you to be a succeeder. And when you take a survivor and make them succeed, what they do is try to be a one-man band. So they stress themselves to death because they have trust issues, and they would rather have 100% of $10 than 50% of $1 million. 60 million Americans have reported mental health issues, and only 45% have ever been to a therapist. Because our parents didn't have to go to therapists. They didn't have the stress you got. They didn't have the pressure you got. They didn't have millions of people in their pocket through their phone. They're not surrounded by strangers, fake friends who are all in your business. They didn't have to contend with that. Your mama's friend was her next door neighbor. You got friends all the way from other countries commenting on what shoes you got on, and you take them seriously. And you're completely stressed out by people that you could actually cut off. But because you don't think like kings, you think you have to keep them on, and you got the nerve to get your feelings hurt about what they said. But if you're like a king, you don't let nobody come up in your life like a pauper and control your decisions by your circumstances. Let me apologize to all the people this message don't fit, because this is a prophetic word for somebody who's trying to think like a king and not like a pauper. And if I'm talking to you, make some noise in this place. My whole head is about to shift. My whole way of doing things is about to shift. My whole method is about to shift. Fist bump somebody and tell them I'm building for expansion. I'm not building for approval. I'm not building for you to like me. I'm building for expansion. I know you don't understand it because you're still back in the depression. And you know what? I'm forgetting those things which are behind, and I'm reaching to those things which are before. I don't even call what I used to call a problem is not a problem. Y'all don't hear me. Who am I talking to in this place? You know, you always got that friend. They said, child, I feel sorry for you. You ain't gonna make it out of this. You should have stayed where you are. You always got that friend that's trying to get you to come down off the wall. You're not supposed to be up there. You can't do that. You can't have this. I remember when I first moved to Dallas, we were looking at a house, and a friend of mine told me, said, oh, you can't buy in that neighborhood. They don't allow us in that neighborhood. I said, they may not allow us, but they're gonna allow me, because I'm gonna buy this house. Slap somebody and tell them I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna break a rule. I'm gonna break through a barrier. I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna go where my grandma didn't go, where my mama didn't go, where my auntie didn't go. I'm breaking into another dimension. I may have to learn how to dress. I may have to learn how to walk. because I'm building for expansion. I want 30 seconds of crazy praise.
Studies show that your attitude can have a greater impact on your success than your IQ. And we spend all kinds of time and money making sure the outside looks good. And that's all fine, but too often we're not spending any time on the inside. Nice clothes won't cover up a bad attitude. A pretty face won't hide being bitter on the inside. In high school, this new girl moved into town and she was very beautiful. I was shy, never had the nerve to talk to her. But our senior year, the seating was assigned. It just so happened I was sitting right next to her. And the first time I sat by her, I turned and said hello, nothing more. She looked at me like I had just insulted her. She looked away and never said a word to me the whole semester. She was beautiful on the outside, but can I tell you, she was ugly on the inside. I never saw her the same way. It's important to look good, to develop your skills, to get an education, but it's even more important to keep a good attitude. Colossians 3 in the Message translation says, dress in the wardrobe God picked out for you. Kindness, compassion, and humility. When you're kind, you draw people to you. Opportunity will come your way. When we're hiring someone, their resume tells us what they can do. But we always meet with them to see what their attitude is. Are they positive, kind, considerate? They may be gifted, but a negative attitude will pull the team down. Your attitude is going to determine your altitude. Well, Joel, I've always been kind of negative, critical, condescending. That's just who I am. No, that's who you're choosing to be. That may be how you were raised, but that's not how you have to stay. On an airplane, there's an instrument called an attitude indicator. And if the pilot wants to ascend, he tilts the plane nose high. If he wants to descend, he tilts it nose down. If you have a nose high attitude, if you're positive, you're kind to people, you have a smile, you're going to continue to rise higher. But if you're sour, you don't want to go to work, bitter over disappointments, because you have a nose down attitude, your life is going to go that direction. The good news is, all you have to do is make an attitude adjustment. You can't change other people. A lot in life we can't control. But one thing we can all control is our attitude. Am I going to live this day negative, seeing the wrong, chip on my shoulder, or am I going to live it in faith, hopeful, seeing the best, being good to people? This is a choice that we have to make every day. If you're not proactive, if you don't choose the right attitude, then the wrong attitude will show up. When a pilot makes a small tweak, in a half an hour, the plane will have climbed thousands of feet in the air. I wonder what would happen in your life if you would make a small tweak. What would happen in your marriage, your relationships, if you'd make a small attitude adjustment? Instead of saying harsh, critical words, you would start giving compliments. Just a small adjustment. Getting your attitude a little higher, watch those relationships begin to improve. Or maybe you've had bad breaks. And it's easy to get sour, focus on what's wrong. That's a nose down attitude. Why don't you tilt it a little nose high? Yes, it was unfair, but I know God is my vindicator. You keep that up, and you'll see God make up for the wrongs. It's what Joseph did. He was betrayed by his family, falsely accused. It wasn't fair. But you never read where Joseph complained, where he slacked off. Despite all the bad breaks, Joseph kept a nose-high attitude. What you're facing may not be fair. People may not be treating you right. It's a test. What are you going to do in the difficult times? Too many people go nose down. But if you'll do like Joseph and stay nose high, keep being good to people when they're not being good to you. That's not just being positive, that's an attitude of faith. That's what allows God to show out in your life. If you're going to go up, like that airplane, you have to get your nose up. You cannot have a defeated mentality and live a victorious life. I can't stand my job, Joel. Traffic is so bad. My house is too small. Some people have not put on a new attitude for years and years. They wonder why everything's a burden, why it's so heavy. It's their attitude. Every morning when you wake up, you need to say, Father, thank you for this day. Thank you that you gave me air to breathe. Thank you that you surrounded me with favor. I'm grateful for my family. Lord, I'm going to live this day to the full.
The more you're grateful for, the more God will give you to be grateful for. Instead of complaining about what's going on, man, I got to go to work today. Man, I got these kids. Remember when you wanted a job? Remember when you wanted a baby? He's not going to keep giving you stuff if what you got you can't handle already. That's the number one blessing blocker, lack of gratitude. Listen to me, y'all. Wake up every day and start being grateful. Wake up every morning and just start thanking him for just your life, your kids, your clothes, your money. And then immediately after that, you'll have a better day. He start giving you more stuff.
You let go of yesterday's disappointments. You get your mind going in the right direction. I'm going to see the good today. I'm going to stay in faith and enjoy this day. If you will get rid of the offense, the critical spirit, the negative attitude, you'll not only enjoy life more, but you'll see favor in greater ways. How high could you fly if you didn't have contaminants holding you back? It's time to find out. This day is a gift from God. It is filled with possibilities, new ideas, new friendships.
This will be a transformative year. New year, new me. Transformative thinking. God is about to transform your thinking, your mindset, your approach to life. The Lord said that there's more inside of you than what you have perceived. There are gifts in you that you have not tapped into yet. This is your year of transformation, rethinking, removing, retooling, new friends, new environment. I'm tired of doing what I used to do. If I always do what I've always done, I'll always be where I've always been. I'm going to throw it behind me. Truth of the matter is, everybody in here is going through a change. We are all in the process of transforming to a higher, better expression of myself. Don't let the habits of my past stop me from this metamorphosis. Things that used to worry me, not gonna do me like that. Things that used to get on my nerves, people I had to respond to in anger, not gonna do me like that. I'm focusing on what's in front of me. What separates us is transformation, the desire to evolve, the passion to get up off the ground and stop eating dirt. Your perception has everything to do with how this year is going to work. It is not what you perceive about me. It's what I perceive about me. If you can kill it in your head, you can kill it in your life. If you're still bitter in your head, you're going to be bitter in your life. You're just going to have a new calendar to work that same old hateful stuff that you did last year. You're still going to be jealous. You're still going to be insecure. But if the clock strikes 12 and something flips